Hey you! Yes, you!
Jesus?
Are you a Pokemon trainer who denounces the very purpose of being a trainer and is tired of running into those pesky pocket monsters? You have an annoying ex you want to keep away, or maybe your therapist won't leave you alone. Well then we have the product for you!
You do?
Introducing the new and improved Super Repel for all of your Pokemon repelling needs. Just spray it and go. It's that simple! Wow! And it's only 700 Poke-Yen. That's right, 700 Poke-Yen. Warning, do not apply to skin, eyes, clothes, grass, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, grandma, dog, or anything that can smell, or matter. Some may processing may occur. Buy now and catch nothing! Super Repel. And welcome back to Pokepardy, Sinnoh's #1 game show. We're back with our latest contestant, Bonquita Shaquille, who has just reached the final round.
Okay, Miss Shaquille, you have earned 1 million Poke-Yen, and now you need to answer one final question to take the prize home. Are you ready? Jay, yes. Okay, let's do it. Okay, Miss Shaquille, here are your categories. Myths and legends, name that Pokemon, and fish on sale. I have to go for name that Pokemon. Alright, Miss Shaquille, here is name that Pokemon. The ruler of time and legendary deity of the Sinnoh region. Oh, that's easy, it's Dialga. Ooh, I think I'm gonna need a hint. Are you sure, Miss Shaquille? That will cost you prize money. Boy, I don't care. Give me that hint. Alright, here's your hint for 500. This Pokemon is associated with diamonds. Oh, come on! How do you not get this? Time. I think I'm gonna need another hint. Are you sure about that? What? Do I look sure? Okay, here's your second hint for 500. This Pokemon is the mascot of Pokemon Diamond version. Ooh, boy, I think I know it! That's my girl, Selby, ain't it? Oh, I am sorry, Miss Shaquille, but it was Dialga. Dialga was the answer we were looking for. I'm afraid you have lost. Oh, hell no! But you said if I paid you, I would win! And that's all the time we have for today, folks. Join us next time where we have a special guest on, Flint of the Elite Four.
This has been Pokepardy, brought to you in part by Veilstone Game Corner. We let kids gamble because they're stupid, and we want money.
Celebi? Really? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It was so obviously Dialga. Seriously, if she just used the context clues she was given, she'd have easily seen that it was Dialga. I mean, Diamond and Day are literally part of its name. As a matter of fact, the names of legendary Pokemon actually give a lot of insight into what they are and their origins. I'm John Mahogany, and today, let's talk about the name origins of the legendary and mythical Pokemon. Kanto's got some of the easiest names to figure out, as all of the legendaries have some pretty basic name origins. To get them out of the way, Mew and Mewtwo's names are derived from the sound a cat makes, and the 2 in Mewtwo means, well, 2. It's the second Mew. Meanwhile, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres have name origins that every one of their cousins' drug dealer knows.
Articuno comes from Arctic and Uno, Arctic referring to its ice type and its origins in the Arctic bird Rook, whilst Uno is in reference to it being the first legendary Pokemon in the Kanto and National Pokedex. Zapdos and Moltres share a similar scheme, Zap as in electricity and Dos as in the second. Moltres comes from Molten, or maybe even Molted, as it seems Moltres has lacking amounts of feathers when compared to its counterparts, and Trace, indicating its position as the third legendary Pokemon.
Kanto's always been a simple region, which is why no one's really surprised that these names are so simplistic. However, throughout the generations, we have seen these names become more and more complicated, which is very easy to see once we jump into Gen 2. Starting with Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, we can already see that these names are harder to decipher. But worry not! Professor Mahogany is on the case!
Being based off the legendary Raiju, it stands to reason that Raikou's name would be derived from it. However, it may also come from the word Raikou, which literally means lightning, or Raikou, which means Thunder Duke. However, its name may also be a combination of the words Rai, thunder, and Ko, emperor.
Either way you look at it, Raikou is the king of lightning. Zapdos who? Like Raikou, there is an ever-present theme of royalty amongst the legendary beasts, as both Entei and Suicune's names make references to being either an emperor or a monarch.
Entei, for instance, may come from the words Enten or En, which means blazing heat and flame respectively, and Kote, emperor.
Moltres, what?
Suicune also seems to be part of some kind of monarchical lineage alongside the other beasts, which probably stems from their in-game origins in relation to Ho-Oh. More on that later. This may be because its name could derive from Kun, which means monarch, while Sui means water. Its name might also be derived from Suisho, meaning crystal.
Articuno when? Lugia's name is a bit of an anomaly, just as its origin is, but I will not let that stop me. At least I won't let it stop me from checking Bulbapedia.
Lugia's name may come from many words referring to silver, slumber, and even whales, as its name seems to incorporate words like lutetium, which is an element that has a silvery appearance, or lugio, which means to lie dormant in Latin. However, the words Luna and Beluga may have also gone into the creation of the mascot's name.
Either way, it just shows how much work alone may go into the naming of a Pokemon. Gotta give Game Freak that credit. Ho-Oh's name, on the other hand, is much easier to dismantle. If you speak Chinese.
Ho-Oh and its Japanese name, Ho-Oh, are transcriptions of the Japanese word for phoenix. Ho-Oh.
That's a lot of O's.
O may refer to O, which means emperor and king, tying back to the royal elements of the legendary beast's names.
And Celebi comes from celery, because it's a grass type. Just kidding. That's stupid.
Celebi's name may actually come from a combination of the words celestial and being, or even serenity and the word be, which means beauty.
But I wasn't joking about the celery thing. Obviously, the Reggies were named after Reggie, the mean king of Nintendo.
Of course, that isn't true. Regirock, Regice, and Registeel also seem to come from a line of royalty, as Regi is the Latin word for royal. Of course, second parts of their names are pretty obvious.
Rock, ice, and steel? What could those mean? Now that those basic hoes out of the way, let's get to the more interesting stuff.
Latios and Latias obviously possess similar name origins. Lati seems to come from later, which means to lie hidden, in reference to their ability to become invisible. As and Os are common suffixes meant to represent feminine and male subjects, respectively. This possibly comes from the fact that Latios and Latias are the first legendary Pokemon given genders, and thus express it with their names.
Just like snowflakes do with Tumblr.
Kyogre, or Kygora, may be a combination of Kai, ocean, and Orca, from which Kyogre's appearance is based. However, leaving it at that would be a disgrace to the origins of the legendary Pokemon. Kyogre's name possibly having derivation from Orca may be in its origins with the mythical Hebrew beast, Leviathan. In modern Hebrew, Leviathan is used to refer to whales, and guess what an Orca is? A dolphin, but it's usually referred to as a whale, okay? Its name may also include the word Kaio, which means king of the sea. This word is also the first two characters in the word Kaiose, Neptune.
Lugia how? Okay, I'll stop.
Groudon's name is much simpler than Kyogre's, as it has no ties to its origins with Behemoth. Its name quite obviously comes from ground and dawn, which is a common suffix in the naming of dinosaurs, being the Spanish word for lord, the Greek word for tooth, and the Japanese onomatopoeia for a very loud crashing noise.
So basically, Groudon's the landlord of very loud teeth, but can you blame him? Have you seen those things? Straight up chain chomps. Oh look, it's this unpronounceable muck.
Rayquaza, or Rayquaza, has a very popular name origin, as it can translate to an entire phrase, one that sits in the ferocious heavens. This comes from the words Retsu, furious or violent, Ku, sky, and Za, which means seat or location. Rayquaza's name may also incorporate the words ray, as in a ray of light.
From the heavens above!
And Quasar, which is a celestial body which emits massive amounts of energy. Jirachi comes from the Russian word zelat,
somehow,
which means wish, and Sachi, which also means wish, but also happiness and fortune.
Huh! That was easy. Now let's move on to... Buzz! Lord Jeebus! What is that?
That is the word deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, which is what is used to refer to the genetic code of many organisms. And if you couldn't tell, deoxy is what inspired the name for Deoxys.
Now that those names are out of the way, let's move on to Sinnoh. Oh god. Oh no. Oh, wow, Lord Jeebus! Why?
All three of the Lake Guardians have names which derive from some kind of magical creature. Yuxi, or Yuxi to begin, comes from the word pixie, and also the word Yukisaki, which means fortune in reference to its tremendous psychic powers. Mesprit, or Emerit,
Because I guess Nintendo didn't give a damn about consistency across languages with these guys.
have different origins for the separate translations of the name. Mesprit may derive from me, possibly to reflect it being the being of one's emotions, coupled with the word esprit, French for spirit, or sprite, another fairy-like creature. Emerit may come from emu, to smile or emotion, while also sharing the esprit/sprite suffix. Azelf, or agonome,
Okay, they weren't even trying to make these names similar. At least with Yuxi's, it's just one extra letter, and with Mesprit, they at least sound akin. But Agnome? Really? Gnome? The sad older cousin of a dwarf? Okay.
Obviously, Azelf and Agnome come from the mythical creatures Elf and Gnome, respectively, but Azelf's name may also derive from azure in reference to its color, or maybe even the azure flute, or be a corruption of self or us in reference to it being the Pokemon of willpower. Agnome may also be derived from agnosticism or gnosis, the Greek word for knowledge, possibly in reference to its innate psychic abilities.
Gnome? Really though? The thing from Travelocity?
As I mentioned before, Dialga's name is derived from diamond and references the time frame of day by also possessing the word dia, which is Spanish for day. The Ga in its name could possibly be a corrupt form of Gon in the word dragon. A third possibility for the first half of its name, however, could also be from dial, as in sundial. You know, those really ancient clocks that we still haven't found out the mystery to in X and Y? Palkia's name is derived from the Japanese word paru, meaning pearl.
Kesko, what? That's it?
Well, no, as when the consonant R's in Japanese words are romanized, they may be changed into L's, making Palu, which can be turned into Palkia.
So, really, you aren't going to be winning any game shows if you know the etymology of Palkia's name? Unless you speak Japanese, of course.
Giratina's name has many different parts that comprise it, possibly being derived from girasol, a red opal which may be in reference to its color scheming, guillotine as reference to its violent nature, or girar, an Italian word meaning wander around, possibly referring to Giratina's constant drifting throughout the distortion world. Lastly, its name may also comprise of purachina, the Japanese word for platinum. Heatran's name is derived from heat and possibly transfer or transition metal, possibly in reference to iron, the material which makes up much of the Earth's outer and inner core, tying into its steel typing and in-game lore. Regigigas' name, like its counterparts, gets Regi from the Latin word for royal and Gigos from the Greek word for giant. Cressella's name is derived from crescent, as in the lunar phase, and Selene, the Greek goddess of the moon. Manaphy's name may come from mana, a word which means prestige, manatee, a sea animal, and fairy. Iphone may be a combination of the final syllable of Manaphy, Phi, and Cleone, the sea angels.
Darkrai's name means dark. And that's about it.
Well, not technically. While Darkrai's name is derived from the word dark and Kurai, a Japanese word meaning dark, Rai may also be the Hindi word for king. So you could say Darkrai is the dark king of dark darkness. Shaman's name may come from the Chinese word for thanks and gratitude, Shay, which I assume is pronounced that way considering the context, and Hiranazumi, which means hedgehog. The word stamen may have also been incorporated as reference to its grass typing, stamen being a plant part, or the Hebrew word, oh look, more Hebrew, for heaven and sky, Shemayim, referring to its sky form. Arceus' name may be a combination of arc, the highest, archon, which is a Greek word that means ruler or lord, arcanus, a Latin word for secret or mystery, possibly in reference to its enigmatic nature. Words like archaic, meaning ancient, arche, Greek for beginning, or archetypus, the Latin word for original, may have also been an inspiration for its name.
But oh no, it doesn't stop there.
Deus, Latin for god, Arceus' god confirmed, Aureus, meaning golden, in reference to its hooves and wheel, which may also be referenced by arc, a type of ring, or Arceus, an aspect of the astral plane, could also be potential inspirations for Arceus' name.
Good gods, no wonder no one can pronounce this unholy goat's name. Whatever, Sinnoh's done, now let's just move on to... Oh no. Anything but that! Anything but that! Okay, let's just get through this horde as fast as humanly possible. Victini is victory and tiny. Cobalion is cobalt, a metal, in reference to its type, and in reference to its color. It also comes from champion, in reference to its stature. Terrakion comes from terra, as in earth, in reference to its type. And it also comes from champion, in reference to its stature. Verizon Wireless comes from Viridian and Virdis, which both mean green, in reference to its color. It also comes from champion, in reference to its stature. Tornadus comes from tornado. Thunderous comes from thunder. Landorus comes from land. And they all incorporate Aeolos, the Greek ruler of the winds.
Reshiram and Zekron's names, if anything, are more so just nonsense than anything. Reshiram is derived from Shiro, or white, and Zekrom from Kuro, black, whilst Kensugi Mori say that Rei and Zei are meant to be counters to one another, Rei being a softer sound while Zei was much sharper and rougher to indicate Zekrom's physical superiority. Kyurem's name is more complex, however, being derived from words like Rei, Kyurei, and Yuki, which mean cold, rapid cooling, and snow, respectively, potentially also incorporating Mu, or nothing, and Rei, zero, whilst its Rem may be meant to mimic the Rom and Ram of its counterparts' names. For starters, Keltua's name is most likely derived from Kelpie, the mythical water horse on which it is based, or Kelda, an Old Norse word for spring or water. It may also be combined with Rodeo or Dio, Latin for God, referring to its mystical status. Meloetta comes from melody or pirouette, a type of movement in ballet, and it may also come from the feminine Italian suffix which means little, referring to Meloetta's appearance and stature. Lastly, Genesect may come from a combination of gene, genetics, genesis, and insect.
Can we please be done? No! We must press on! For the people! For liberty!
Xerneas and Yveltal's names are obviously based around the letters X and Y. However, Xerneas' name is combined with Cervus, Latin for deer, or Cernunnos, a horned Celtic god. Meanwhile, Yveltal's Y is combined with Yvel, which is Old English for evil, or Quetzal, a type of bird. Similarly, Zygar's name centers around the letter Z, whilst being combined with words like zygotos, Greek for joined, and zygote, possibly in reference to its alternative forms, along with guard, the French word for guard, referring to his order-protecting position. Diance's name is based upon diamond, if that wasn't clear enough, and maybe fancy or ishi, which means stone. Hoopa comes from...
Do I even need to explain this one? Hoopa. Hoop. Hoopa.
Volcanian's name may be a combination of volcano and lion, or even in some part canon.
There! That's it! We're done now! No, we still have to do Alola. Alright, but can we not do the Ultra Beasts in this episode? Pfft, pansy. What was that? Proceed!
On the home stretch, we'll first talk about our first legendary evolution line, Cosmog, Cosmoem, Solgaleo, and Lunala. Cosmog is a combination of Cosmos and Smog, and Cosmoem is a combination of Cosmos and Embryo, whilst Japanese name Cosmovum is a combination of Cosmos and Ovum, which is Latin for egg and may refer to its shape, or the idea that it is a dormant form waiting to hatch into Solgaleo or Lunala, whose names are firstly derived from Sol and Luna, the Latin and Spanish words for sun and moon. Solgaleo's name is also partly Leo, Latin for lion, and maybe Galileo, the Italian astronomer who first presented the evidence that it was the Earth which rotated around the Sun, and not the vice versa. Meanwhile, Lunala's name is much simpler, simply having Luna combined with Ala, Latin for wing.
Moonwing, here to save the day!
Tapu, or Kapu, are the first parts of the names of the guardian deities, which are two Hawaiian words which mean sacred or holy. In the case of Tapu Koko, Koko is derived from Koko, the Hawaiian onomatopoeia for a rooster's crowing, and Kokeko in its Japanese names comes from Kokekoko, the Japanese onomatopoeia which is also used for the sound of a rooster's crowing. Lele may come from Palelehua, which is the Hawaiian word for butterfly, as it seems Tapu Lele's design is based upon a butterfly. Similarly, in its Japanese name, Tetefu comes from an old way to write butterfly in Japanese, Tefu Tefu. Bulu and Bulol are derived from bull, referring to its bull-like design. Simple enough. With Tapu Fini, similar to Bulu, both its English name Fini and its Japanese name Rihire are derived from fin. In the case of its Japanese name, Hire is a Japanese word which means fin. Necrozma's name may come from the word necros and prisma, ancient Greek words for death and prism. Crudo, black, may also be incorporated in its name in relation to its coloring, and its name may also be in reference to the real-life project Ozma, which is an experiment made to seek out extraterrestrial life, in reference to Necrozma's theorized ultra-beastness. Megira's name may be derived from machina, Latin for machine, and gear.
And finally,
Marshadow is a ghost and fighting type, whose name may be based upon martial arts, shadow, and possibly Mars, the Roman god of war, in reference to its fighting type, or even the Hawaiian Night Marchers, which are spirits of deceased warriors encompassing the whole of its ghost and fighting type.
and that's about it, except for the Ultra Beast. Oh, put a sock in it. That's another video for another time. The names of the legendary Pokemon are probably the most unique out of the entire franchise, as, for the most part, they are specifically designed to fit the language margins of each country that Pokemon is in. That makes them special because no matter what, wherever you go, if you say a legendary Pokemon's name, someone's going to recognize it, even if they don't speak a word of your native tongue. That is, if they play Pokemon, of course. Knowing the origins of these names can be a pretty powerful thing, as it can give us insight into the thinking process behind these Pokemon and how they may have been perceived by the creators. And now, hopefully, you've learned to see some of these Pokemon in a different light. I know I think of the beasts a whole lot differently now that I know they're royalty. Anyhow, I'm John Mahogany, and I hope you enjoyed this video because I enjoyed making it, and I will see you all next time.